Hey Blake, man, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, brother?
How you been, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, got
How you,
engaged over the weekend.
everything been okay?
Yeah, yeah, dude. Everything went good. I mean, I had the, I was nervous. I was nervous. I had this. I don't know if you've ever been through that, but I don't know. I had a bunch of emotions running through me.
What kind of emotions?
Um, I was nervous. I was scared. Um, the biggest one was, it was more or less just a question of, is she gonna say no? Or is she gonna say like, no, right now it's not a good time or something? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that
So,
kind of, and that kind of had me down a little. But I had already had it planned out, so I wasn't. I'm not the kind of person to usually back out on on plans. You know what I mean?
right.
Especially after I had already set everything up. We got the hotel and I had already got a ring, just everything.
Okay. Big pimping, I hear you. Before we get into all, because I want to hear about all of that, man, because the last time I talked to you, which I still have those, um, I haven't posted them or anything like that. But the last time that I talked to you, you were depressed, over your grandfather or whatever.
Yeah.
So how did you go from that to proposing?
Um. So she knows about my grandfather and stuff, and you know, I told her the whole story, pretty much, everything I told you more or less, and um, it's actually for me, it was kind of helpful because she was really close to her grandfather as well, and he passed away as well, no, it was her grandmother. I'm sorry, close to her grandmother. Her grandfather's still alive, but it's kind of like the same. It's kind of like the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, so she has her mother and her father and stuff, and but she kind of sympathizes with me how my parents aren't really around, and like I was raised by my grandparents, so she understands like how important he was to me and how important my grandmother is to me, and she has a lot of respect for that. So, I went from talking to you and, I explained to her about the podcast and how I've been talking to you and stuff. And she actually listened to the last one we did.
oh yeah. What'd she say about
Yep. Yep. Um, she almost like started, she was, I think she was a little shocked, but she was more or less kind of like happy for me because she was like, it's about time you finally got some of that stuff out. Because I mean, it's easy for me to talk to her and tell her stuff. Because like at the end of the day, I'm in love with her, and there isn't really much that she doesn't know. There's like she pretty much knows everything that goes on in my daily life and more or less the past. So and she knows how I am. I hold things in, and that causes me most of my problems because I don't talk about a lot of stuff. I just hold it in and keep it pushing.
well what makes it so easy to talk to me?
Um, well, Cynthia's like my Cynthia's like my mother pretty much, and I trust her with anything. That's mainly the reason why. She would explain to me, that you're a good dude, and explain to me what you do, and I don't know. I guess she's been telling me for a long time. I've known her for years now, like 3 or 4 years at least, and she knows me like she knows everything about me,
Yeah.
everything, and she was like it'll do you some good to talk to him because she also knows that I don't like, I don't tell anybody anything, and I just hold my shit in if I have problems, and I just hold it until I blow up, and when I, when it comes to blowing up, that's when I'm talking about stuff or explaining things, and by then it's usually too late.
Right, right. But how do you feel talking to me though? Is what's more important.
I feel comfortable. You kind of you listen, and then also at the same time, like, you know, you you know you you sympathize, I guess.
Mm.
It's not like it's not like it's not like going to a therapist and they're like, yeah, yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep, and like also you're not getting. I mean, I don't know. As far as I know, I don't think you're really getting paid for this. So it's like, I don't know. It's easier for me to talk to you. I don't know.
I'm not making a penny off this here, man. Not one penny.
Well, that's why I got a lot of respect for you, because honestly, me talking to you is kind of, even though it's only been like a week, it's helpful. And you text me every day, bro. I don't got no friends that text me. I don't got nobody that looks up, that checks out, see how I'm doing, or even some of my family.
It feels good to
You
get a
know, the,
text though, right? Just to see how you're
it,
doing or whatnot.
yeah, absolutely.
Let you know that
And the
somebody
only,
let
the
somebody know that you're being thought of or whatever, you know?
absolutely. And the only people I talk to on a daily basis are Cynthia and my girl. Like, and now you, and it's just, like I said, I don't have no boys. I don't have, that shit ended quickly when I started using and getting high and shit. It just became everybody, everybody became a means to an end, and at the end of the day, I became a means to an end to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't have money in my pocket, nobody wanted to fuck with me. If I didn't, if somebody didn't have money in their pocket, I wasn't trying to, hang out with them. It just kind of, and that was kind of the relationship. And I guess if that's the way I thought about people, that's probably why. That's probably why I was, getting the type of respect that I was getting. I'm a firm believer in, you treat people the way you want to be treated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in that lifestyle, you're usually surrounded by just a bunch of users, you know. And
Exactly. And everybody wants one thing. They want the next one.
well, they just want right. They just want whatever makes them feel good, and that's why they're in the position that they're in because they've let that type of lifestyle consume their very being, their very thought process, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
whatever it is that they want, whatever their vice is, they've just let it consume their lives, you know. Um,
I know I can say, like, when I'm out there getting high, that's all I think about all day long. Like, I won't even like eat until I get high. You know what I'm saying? I won't even get out of bed till I get high. I won't shower till I get high. It's just everything's just get high, get high, get high, get high.
well, sure,
And even now that I'm not using, like, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, dude. That thought, that thought and that feeling. I don't know. It almost feels like I'm gonna throw up sometimes. And that thought, it passes through me, and I just gotta. I try to, like, I try to. I think about, probably, like, I tend to try to think about the happiest thing that's ever happened to me, if I can, depends on the type of situation. Um, I have a severe case of going off the deep end really quick without thinking.
yeah,
So
I
it's
know.
hard
I,
for
I
me
can
to.
I can see that already in you, Blake. But listen, check this out. Check this out, kid. This is what I want you to do.
Yep.
So your past is your past, right?
Yep.
We know what your past is. And you are a living example of your past right now. Okay? Your past was ugly, but that doesn't mean that you're ugly because as we discussed before, right? You were making all the way up until just recently, you have been making choices that have been put into you ever since you were a kid. You just didn't realize why you were making these choices. Now you've come to a
Yep.
point to where you can make choices for Blake. Now Blake is going to make his own choices moving forward,
Yep.
right? So the past is relevant because it is who you are, and you don't want to deny it, right? It's just becoming to love who you are and growing with that. So when you're in times of despair, right, and you're trying to think of happy thoughts, don't think about happy thoughts from your past. Think about happy thoughts in the future. Start thinking about and start visualizing future, not past, right? Start visual.
So instead of reminiscing on the bad shit that's happening, we start thinking about the good stuff that's gonna come.
That's it. Like, listen, and this is what you have to tell yourself. Like, man, that shit is past, right? Like now I'm engaged, right? I got a job, whatever. You just start visualizing on the future and start putting yourself in that future. And let me tell you something for me, right? Like if there's something that I'm visualizing and that I want, I'll
Yep.
go to it. I'll go see it. I'll go smell it. I'll put my hands on it. You know what I
You
mean?
gotta smell it.
I'll
Yeah,
do
yeah,
I'll do all of that. Like so my dream car is a Wraith, right?
yeah.
That's what I want. And for me, because it's a
That's a Rolls Royce, right?
right. For me, it's not so much about the car. It's a beautiful car for me, but for me, it's more of just knowing that I've reached a certain status that I've been trying to achieve, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And all the hard work that puts in. So that's my goal. And that's the thing. I don't want to go put a down payment. When you go to buy a vehicle like that, you're not making payments on that. You're
Oh
walking
hell
in
no.
and you're paying for it up front.
And yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? That's how you truly know, like, I can do this,
yeah.
and that's it. So man, I go to the dealership maybe once every 6 months or so. I'll go look at them. I'll sit in them. I'll feel it. I picture myself in it. And that's what motivates me and drives me to keep moving forward. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So in these times when you start feeling despair, don't dwell on the past. Don't even let past enter into your psyche. Just sit down, get somewhere like away from wherever the emotion is coming from,
Yeah.
clear your mind, and just start thinking about this is why I want to get a job. This is why I want to move into management. This is why I want to buy my girl the house on the hill. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that's actually that's my biggest problem. I dwell on the shit that's happened to me. And I think like I mean it's kind of embarrassing to say it, but I think like I try to pity myself to others to, you know, make them feel bad for me.
I do the same thing,
And
partner.
it's
It's okay.
and
I do. It's manipulation.
it's
I do the same thing. I do the same thing. I catch
but
myself
like
doing it.
but like as I'm sitting here like telling you that that's not what I really want. That's not really like my goal, but like my brain just does it so naturally. And like in the moment I'm not processing what's actually happening. It's just happening and it's happening fast and I'm not I'm not stepping back and saying, all right,
But
I shouldn't be doing this, I should be doing this.
that's the
You know what
trigger.
I mean?
That's the point. That's where the discipline comes in right there, partner, because what you're saying is 100. I'm right with you. I know exactly what you're talking about. And as I said, I still do it now. Only now I catch myself and I correct
Yeah,
myself, you see? And that is the
yeah.
thing. And then the more that you do that, right, the more that the more that you'll let it go and you'll just reprogram yourself. You're spot on, Blake, and you know what to do. The thing of it is the discipline. And I know your discipline
Exactly,
I know your discipline is
exactly.
weak because you don't have confidence. Discipline comes from confidence, right?
Okay.
And this is why you dwell on the past, you see, and it's hard for you to imagine a future because you don't have the confidence in you that you can provide this future.
So what did like if you don't mind me asking, like what did you do to get that confidence?
It was baby steps for me. What I'm telling you is what I did. It was first understanding. You first have to understand why you're doing these things, right?
Yeah.
And then once you understand that it's just a stimuli within the brain, and you
Yeah.
understand that there's an opposite to everything in life, right? If there's good, there's bad. There's a complete opposite to everything in life. So if I'm making decisions erratically and my brain is trained that way, then I can reprogram my brain to make, good positive decisions. And
Yeah.
and that's where I just started at. So it was just first acknowledging that it was doing this. And what I want you to do, Blake, is when you start getting into these moments, when you say like you feel like you want to vomit sometimes, where like those urges are really coming into you,
Yeah.
write down on a piece of paper what's going on in your life in that moment. Everything that just comes to your mind. Just ask your brain, what's going on around me right now? And just start writing stuff
Okay.
down. Because there's something going on around you that's triggering you and you don't even realize it.
I started doing this. So I was reading some like a little article on the internet, and it was about just every day writing like 10 things, 10 positive things about yourself, and every day that you do it, like don't repeat something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like if I said, so the 10 things that I wrote on Monday, I can't repeat anything on Wednesday that I wrote on Monday. It's got to be 10 different things every day. And it's I'm gonna be honest, like when I started it, and by Tuesday I had nothing else to write.
And there's nothing wrong with that, partner. Dude, like,
And I started on Monday. It's not even 20 things,
dude, Blake,
or even stuff that I'm grateful
you
for.
listen to me, partner. You have no clue, man. You have no clue, man. You really don't. And this is what's so crazy about America and about kids these days, man. About y'all kids is everybody. Me too. We can paint ourselves in a corner like we're the only ones that are this fucked up in
Yeah.
life. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, I was at where you're at, and it's crazy. Listen to me. When I broke myself down, right? Okay. Now I'm in visitation. Okay. My daughter's probably 3 months old,
Yeah.
right? Or no, I'm sorry, not 3 months. My daughter's about 3 years old, 4 years old, right? So now, mind you, where I'm at, the college that I'm at, my mom, which at this time she was probably 67,
Yeah.
right, had to drive 5 hours
Oh
by
shit.
herself with my 3-year-old daughter
Jeez.
to make it to visitation at about 8 o'clock in the morning. Stand
Oh.
in line, partner. Listen, this is what I've put my people through. Stand in line for hours, just the long lines outside, wrapped, for all the visitation,
Yeah.
for hours with this 3-year-old little girl. Come inside and then sit in there, for 5 hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours, and then leave and then drive home for another 5 hours. This is what I used to put my people through, right? And then plus all the pat down searches, and then not even to say some of the guards. If my mom had the wrong shirt on, right? Maybe the bra that she had on had a wire like a wire in it or something. They would make her go back to the car
Yeah.
and change, and she would have to stand in line again to come back in.
Jesus.
Right? This is what I used to put my people through, One day, so there's one day in particular, and I blamed everybody. I blamed the DA. I blamed the people that snitched on me in my case. I blamed
Blame everybody but
everybody
yourself.
but myself,
And I'm
right?
not, I'm not saying that about you. I'm saying that about me because that's what I
But
do.
that's the reality. Those are the facts. That's what we do. That's why we're in the position in life that we're in, because we blame everybody else besides ourselves, and it allows us to continue our bad habits, right? So this particular day, my daughter, man, there was stuff going on, man. You have no idea what kind of hell I went through with the mother of my child at this time, you know, and what was going on, and just in that environment, and what I left my daughter to, my bloodline, my only child.
Yeah.
This is what I did. This is the destruction that I caused, right? My daughter here, now it's time to go. She's pulling at my clothes. She's gripping my clothes. She's pulling. She's like, Daddy, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I want to stay with you. And I literally had to grab my daughter's arms and rip them off my shirt, and just told my mom, you know, just go, you know.
And I'm sorry to say this, but I'm grateful that one thing I'm grateful for is that, like, you know, I don't have children yet, because that's the one thing that I have, like, ever since I was probably like 16 years old, because, like, you know, I started going through some crazy shit at such a young age. So, like, I was already thinking, like, I'm not gonna lie, dude, I was like 16, like, and I was telling myself, damn, I'm probably gonna have kids running around by the time I'm 18 years old. I was just like thinking, you know, I was not thinking normal things that children should be thinking. And I think, but the one thing I always told myself is that I would not, if and when I have a child or children, I'm not going to do what my father did to me. And I'm scared that, like, what if I do, you know?
And I'm telling you right now that you will, Blake. I'm telling you right now that you will. So take heed to my warning, you know, but we'll get into that in a minute, right? That don't mean to say that you will always be that way, but right now you will be. But let me finish what I was saying. So this day here in particular, man, I'm furious, man. I'm mad, and I'm just tired of it. I've been tired of it. You know, I'm about, you know, I'm 3 years in. I left my daughter when she was 6 months old. So I'm 3 years in now, and I'm sitting here like, I'm already tired of this, and I still got another 15 to go. You know, the reality started sinking in on me, you know. So, man, I go back to my cell, you know, I throw a towel up over the door, close the door, and man, I started punching the walls. I'm punching myself. You know, I'm so furious. Like, I'm out of control rage. See, I have a flash temper.
Yeah.
Right. I'm the type of cat, like, I can take a lot of shit, right? I can take a lot of crap. I can eat a lot of crap, and I can eat it, and I can eat it. But when I go, I'm gone. That's always been my problem. And there's no stopping me. I'm a tank. I'm telling you, right? And that's it. I'm just gone, you know. And that's how I was that day to myself. I just, for like 5 minutes, man, and I was just exhausted. I wore myself out, you know. And I'll never forget, man. I got my back against the lockers, and I'm on the floor, and I'm crying like a baby cry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like, oh. You know, and then I finally, after a couple minutes, I get up, I wipe my face, I get up, I look in the mirror, and I tell myself exactly what you just said. What is it that I don't like about myself? You know, man, I started rattling off, you're a liar, you manipulate, you use, you abuse, you've hurt people, just rattling off negatives, man, one after another, blah, 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 blah. Just as quick as I knew them. Okay, cool. What do you like about yourself? Dog, I had to sit there and think about one thing, man, for real. For real, no, I'm serious.
I agree, dude.
Blake, I had to think about one thing, man. One thing, because I wanted to be honest with myself, you know? Of course I went, well, I'm a good guy. Okay, if I'm a good guy, then how am I hurting all these people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm going through, and I'm just going through a process of elimination till I get to the point to where I'm like, okay, so I care. I know that I care about people. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I couldn't deny that. I couldn't find no fault or no lie in that. So I knew that was a starting place for me, you know? So if I care about people, then I really need to start humbling myself and stop thinking that I know all of this crap when people trying to talk to me, you know? And that was it. You know what I did, dog? I started going around to people, man, and I started apologizing. For real, listen, man, you know what? I owe you an apology because I know there's been some times where I've been a real dick to you, man, you know? And I know you were just looking out for me or whatever. And I started doing that. And it started making me feel good. You know, it really did. And it started making me feel good to be nice to the guards, you know, because I didn't have no animosity towards this person per se, other than the fact that he was a representation,
Yep.
you know. But this person's trying to eat too.
Yep.
So I just started injecting positivity into my life by sending out love, by dispersing love. When I was giving out love, man, positivity just started coming to me from every angle. You wouldn't believe how my
So
life changed by
it's
that.
pretty much you get what you give.
Man, it tells you that in the Bible, Blake. It tells you that everywhere. But you know where it tells you that, where you really, really know?
Where?
It tells you in your spirit, partner. And you told me that. Remember, you told me that in your little trip that you told me about. Remember the trip you told me about?
Yeah, yeah. But it's
Remember
just
what you saw?
I do, but it's it's hard to it's easy to sit there and talk about it when you're asked, but it's hard to remember, in the moments. That's my biggest that's my problem. Like
You know how you solve for that, Blake?
I don't.
Fizzle. It's simple mechanics, partner. See, and these are the skills again. The reason why I'm doing this for you, Blake, the reason why I'm doing this for you, partner, is because these are the life skills that should be taught to us as children. I didn't have these life skills. You don't have these life skills. And the shit is so fucking simple, dog. It really, really is. It really is. It is, dog, for real. And the only reason why I say that is because you and I, we've been trained in a negative thinking manner. And we
Yep.
don't even realize that there's a positive thinking manner.
Yep.
So we just have to retrain our brain. But how you remember, Blake, is you have to keep it in the forefront of your brain. That's simple mechanics. That's how your brain works.
So instead of constantly thinking about bad shit, just just constantly think about that one thing.
Listen, challenge yourself every day. The first thing that comes to your mind, which is of course going to be a negative thought,
Yeah.
find the positive in that negative thought.
Okay.
As soon as you say, you look out the window and you're like, damn, man, it's fucking raining out here, man. Find the positive in that to flip that. But you know what? It's not going to rain that long. And the sun's going to be out in about 20 minutes. So you know what? I can go do something for 20 minutes and then catch the sun.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because you have to understand that there's always a positive to every negative. That's how life works, you know? I made a quote on Facebook this morning, right? And I was talking to somebody and it just came to me. And I'm like, in life, we have to deal with negatives. We know that negatives exist, just like the rain. You have to have the rain,
Yeah.
right? So instead of wishing for the rain not to be there, just carry an umbrella with you. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yep.
Just know that this is something that you have to deal with. You know that negative exists because God created negativity for a purpose.
So
You know why?
more or less, it's like if there was no negativity, how would you be able to decipher what's positive?
That's exactly right, Blake.
Okay, I'm following.
That's what I was just getting ready to say, partner. See, you got it, man. You got this stuff, man. You're exactly right. You have to know rain in order to appreciate the sun.
Exactly.
You have to know pain.
Yep.
You have to know pain in order to appreciate happiness.
Yep.
If we just walked around happy motherfuckers all day long, every day for all of eternity, how the fuck would we know that we were happy? You wouldn't.
Exactly. You were exactly. Yep.
So this is the thing, and this is what we have to start understanding. Like, I'm tired of being in this negative shit. I don't even have to. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But what happens though is because we get into these negative environments, right? And we get so self-secluded, and we become so fucking antisocial. Our circles are really, really small. So, and what I'm kind of speaking on is biblical, right? So when you're reading in the Bible and you're reading how they're speaking on the whole world was this way. They're only speaking on that small piece of land that they only knew was their world.
Yep.
They weren't speaking on the earth
because they haven't been anywhere else. Yep.
They only knew that one small piece of land. So this is what happens when we get caught into negativity. We surround ourselves with just ugly and darkness, and it just consumes us. And we start thinking like, this is how life is. This is everywhere.
It's going to be like this forever.
I mean? Why even do good? Because it's so ugly. People are just going to rob you and steal, because this is what you're surrounded by.
That's what I tell. I literally, what you just said, I fucking do that all the time. And it makes me sick, but it makes me even more. It makes me sad. It makes me sad, and it makes me lose all motivation. There's no other way I can put it other than that. Makes me lose all motivation to just to do anything, or to see the good in anything.
And when that happens, again, you have to be very, very self-conscious and self-aware of yourself in these moments, Blake, because you're in a very, very critical spiritual battle with yourself, right?
Okay.
You're trying to climb out of a hole that demons are trying to keep you in. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So they're going to, and you also have to remember, like, we can get philosophical in this stuff, man, because I can get deep with this, right? You also have to remember, this is the devil's playground where we're at. The physical plane is the devil's playground. This is where we're tempted every day, and the devil has free access to tempt us, because you have to provide yourself with strength. You have to show yourself that strength to fight these demons off. Again, that wall of defense that we talked about. And that all comes from loving yourself. As long as you love yourself, man, you have God within you, you can fight off everything. And I'm not a religious person. I don't subscribe to no one religion. I'm just life. And I see life from a spiritual aspect.
Okay.
And that's just where I flow from. I believe it, I know it, it's in me, and I just let it come through me.
I don't know if I told you in the last podcast, but it might be hard to believe. But before I had moved to Florida with my mother, I actually was I went to Catholic school. I was an altar boy. I sang in the choir. I'm not kidding. And I think I shied away from all that because at the time I felt forced. Like my grandmother was making me go to Sunday school when I didn't want to go, or I had to dress up in this uniform to go to school, and I didn't want to wear the damn uniform, but she was making me, and I think like that made me hate not just church, but I think it made me hate like the idea of God. And and I don't necessarily feel that way now because I'm my own person now. I don't have to I mean I still have to answer to something, but like I don't have to necessarily every single day. I don't have to answer to my grandmother any longer. I don't have to I can think and believe.
You can be Blake.
Exactly. I can think and believe what I want.
You could just be Blake, man. What we're trying to do right now is just figure out who the hell Blake is. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's not hard because, again, just by conversing and dialoguing the way that you and I are, we're finding out a lot of things about you that you didn't even know, you see?
Yo.
So where do you go for positive reinforcement? Do you go to church?
No, I don't. No.
When was the last time you was in a church, Blake? Why? How come?
I think, to be honest, I think I'm scared.
You don't feel worthy?
Not just that, I don't. I think I'm scared to like, admit the shit that I've done.
Admit it to who, partner?
Just, just anybody but myself. Anybody, anything but my brain.
But you've already admitted it. You've admitted it to the world now. So, what's not registering? You can't admit it to God. God already knows it. You're not admitting anything to God. The only thing that you're doing is acknowledging it for yourself, and that's what God wants.
Okay.
Don't ever be ashamed to go to church, partner. Don't ever be ashamed to turn to God, whoever your God is. And like I say, I don't subscribe to myself to no religion, as I said, so I can walk into any church because I respect all house of God, no matter what affiliation they have. This is a house of worship, and I know that I can walk into any of them, no matter what, and be close to God.
Yep.
My God, and it would just.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, I don't believe in just like God. I believe in a higher power. I believe in
spiritual,
something.
partner.
I exactly. I believe in something greater than myself. How did all this shit happen? This shit didn't just fucking pop up. This world didn't just like, okay, here, all right, and now, this planet is gonna be able to, this one planet's gonna be able to sustain all this shit and all these people, and just I absolutely believe in a higher power.
Let
I think,
me prove it to you. Let me prove it to you. I can prove it to you right now. You want me to prove it to you?
yeah.
Okay. Now you say you're a carpenter, so you got skills with earthly elements.
Yeah.
What do you know about electricity?
What do I know about it and like what manner? I know
Well, just tell me. Just tell me.
it can power things. It's a powerful
Okay.
thing.
Okay. Do you know that electricity, like, you cannot kill electricity? Like there's always electricity.
Well, in what manner? Like turning on a light and then shutting the light off. You
Well, but
just killed
you
electricity.
can kill the flow, but the current, the actual electric current
Okay, yeah.
is, you can't. It's not. It's like it's
It
just
just puts
there.
it puts a block on it,
So
and it's there waiting to be opened up again.
yes, electricity is eternal. It's always there, right?
Okay.
And I'm not an electrician either, so I really can't. Maybe one of my listeners could maybe help define what the hell it is that we're trying to say. But electricity is eternal. Okay. We know that our bodies produce electricity, right? You do know that, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that.
So
I
when
knew
your
that.
heart,
I knew that. Like we give off. Like sometimes. So I'll be quick with this, but at my grandma's house, she has like one of those little TV antennas, and when somebody walks close to it, the channel goes out.
mm-hmm,
But when you step away, the channel
mm-hmm,
comes back.
that's
So
exactly
like
right. And you
so
know
like
what's
I
producing that? Your
I
heart.
okay
Your heart produces that. Your
okay
heart produces an electric field around you, at least about 3 or 6 feet or something along those lines. Again, I'm not a scientist,
yep
right? So your heart produces this electric field. This is what like your EKGs and all of these things work off of, and that's
Yeah.
how they monitor your heart from all of this. So your heart produces energy, right? Now, vibrations, we know that everything works off vibrations. Everything vibrates, everything.
Yep.
It's just
Sound.
it's just at the speed that it vibrates at, right? Some things vibrate faster, some things vibrate slower.
Yep.
And there's a large scale of this. So the best way that you can test my theory is with a tuning fork. You know what a tuning fork is?
Oh yeah, that's one of them. That's one of them.
Them little musical gadget
Yeah, the
things.
metal thing that's got the two prongs.
Yeah. So when you
Okay, yeah.
flick it, right, the thing
It goes.
vibrates.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I used to mess with one of them in school.
Right. And you can only see those prongs at either side when it's vibrating, right? But you
Yep.
can never see the prongs in the middle.
Yep.
You cannot see them in the middle. They disappear. You know why they disappear?
No, I don't.
Because the vibration is so fast that the eye can't register it.
Okay.
Right? So the brain can't register. So therefore it just looks invisible. But that doesn't mean that it's not there. Okay. We create vibrations as an electric being, right?
Yep.
So when you're up, when you're excited, you're pumped, you're ready to go, what kind of vibrations are you feeling at that time?
Your heart's beating fast, like that type of stuff. Is that what you're asking?
Your heart's beating fast, your adrenaline may be going, you're
Your
excited,
palms
you're
are
energetic,
sweaty.
you're
You're
jumping around, you're
Yep.
talking fast, your vibrations are high,
Yep.
right? Because you're in a good mood, you're euphoric, right? You're excited, Now, on the flip side, when you're depressed, right? What happens? What happens when you're
You're
down,
moving
Blake?
slow. You're thinking, you just want to stay in bed. You don't want to go anywhere. You don't want to do nothing.
First and foremost, your heart is barely beating. You know what I mean? It's not beating fast. It's boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your whole demeanor is down. Your vibration is low. You know what I mean? You become like a stone. So in the spiritual realm, we know that the spirit is filled with love, is filled with light, right? Its vibrations is vibrating at such a level that we can't even see it. That doesn't mean that it's not there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's kind of like how they say that, Jesus, disappeared. And he's able to come in, go back as he pleases because he can control that vibrational level that he has.
Yep.
So again, it's all theory and it's just what you believe in. But physically speaking, that's what I know. I know when things vibrate super, super fast, they disappear. Yep. I've seen that with my own eyes.
And it's been proven too that like we only use about 10% of our brain capacity.
10% of our brain, partner.
Yep.
And it's so probably
like
even less than that now.
It's kind of wicked. It's wicked crazy to think. What if we could use 50% of our brain? Like imagine like what could we do? Like can we do stuff with our body or can we build better stuff? It makes you think a lot of different things.
There was a book that I read one time. It's called Ramtha, Ramtha. It's called Ramtha, and what Ramtha was, what this book claimed was that he was a spirit that was, I believe, 30,000 years old, that incarnated inside of this woman that wrote this book, right? And he explains in this book about how life was. He explains his bloodline, right, all the way down to her, which she is a descendant of this I think he was a king.
Yeah.
But he explains through her, he's channeling through her, right? And all kinds of, like, this is some real shit. And all kinds of science test was done on this woman. I'd have to pull my books back out to really to because it's been years since I read this here.
Yeah.
But there was tests on this woman because of what she was claiming about this spirit channeling her.
Yeah.
So what this Ramtha had described is, at one point we have this gland in our brain that's called the pineal gland.
Yep.
This pineal gland is pretty much unknown of what it does. It has no idea. Like, scientists are really kind of starting to understand about the hormone that this pineal gland produces, but it's such a small fragment of it, right? But it is believed that this pineal gland is what unlocks the essence of what you were describing about using the full brain, right? Now, what Ramtha describes is, at one point, we had full access to this pineal gland to whenever we wanted to use it, which meant that we could move objects with our mind. We could power all of this stuff. Right. All of this stuff that we dream about doing, But
I mean,
time,
if that were true, then how would there, if we could really do that, how would there be a God? Because those are all things that we have been told to believe that God could do.
That's exactly right, Blake. Why was you told that, partner?
I don't know.
You were told that just like I was told that, to separate you from God, right? To separate you from God. So now, therefore, because how the human brain works is, now God can only do that. I can't do that. Yeah. Those are things of God, right? But what we forget is that we're made in the likeness and image of God. We're here to represent God, you see? Yeah. But because
we're not
of
here
agenda,
to mimic his movements, and
because of agenda, and because of power, because of ego, that separatists came in. And no, sit down, young child. You have nothing to do with God. You worship God. You're not God, right? And you worship God through me. This is how I view religion. These are only my opinions, but this is what I see from my experiences of reading many texts, asking many questions that go unanswered. And and at the end of the day, they just tell you, well, son, you just have to have faith. Okay, cool. But this is what I believe, partner, and when that separatist came in, it creates limitations for us. Now, this is what Ramtha explained, is that throughout time of these limitations constantly being put on us, just like any other gland, just like any other muscle, when it's not used, it deteriorates. You see? So over time, and you can see it now. You can see it what's going on now. This is why it's urgent for me to get my message out to these children, because do you guys not even see what's going on? We're trying to create computers to mimic what the human brain can already do. But we're being told that we can't. We have to use Google to think faster. We have to use, all of these other devices for what our brain already does.
Have you thought that if we are able to make like a computer that can do everything we can do, that somehow maybe the computer can become, bigger and more intelligent than ourselves?
Blake, you need to catch up on time, partner. See, and this is what happens. And I'm gonna answer your question here real quick, right? That's already happening, partner. It's already going on. Elon Musk. Do you know who Elon Musk is?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Elon he's Musk. Do you know what Tesla?
Are you familiar with Neuralink is?
Yeah, no, but he's involved with the spaceships and shit, right?
Yes. Okay. What Neuralink is a chip that they want to put into your brain okay, that can read your thoughts and reprogram your brain.
I've never heard that. I've never heard of that.
Do you understand, like, this is going to be going on within probably the next 5 years?
So why would we want to do? Why would we like reprogram your brain in what manner?
Well, just like let's take you for instance, right? Okay, you don't want to think about your past no more. You want to be a new Blake. You just got engaged, which we haven't even gotten into that yet. But you just got engaged, right? And you want to be a new you. You don't like how you think, right? You go and you get this Neuralink. You get this chip in here that sends electronic pulses through your brain when your brain wires in a certain direction that to send negative pulses. The chip takes that and turns it into a positive for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And reprograms that. So now Blake is a politician now. Blake is a surgeon now. You see? But you're not Blake though. You understand what I'm saying? You're not Blake.
Yeah, I'm not. So why would we want to do that?
Because people don't want to put in the work, man. They don't want to put in.
That what you just said is we're pretty much turning ourselves into like an artificial
impulsivities. We're turning ourselves into impulsive creatures because everything has to be faster. We need our information faster. We need to get the work faster. We need production faster. But by doing faster.
That, we're gonna lose all emotion. We're gonna lose many things that make us human.
Blake, do you see what's going on in the world right now? Do you understand why everybody is so tense about this election and about what's going on? Because there's a lot of shit going on. And here you are fucking around. Hold up, man, because this is what pisses me off, man. You know, here you are out here running around, getting fucking high, feeling sorry for yourself and shit. And what's going to happen to you, Blake? You're at the bottom of the totem pole. What's going to happen to you? What's going to happen to your life, your bloodline? You're going to get crushed.
Yeah.
You're going to get crushed, man. And I could tell you got a brain on you, man. I could see it in you. You just haven't been feeding it. You only been feeding it bullshit. Start going to the library every day. Start dedicating yourself to education, Blake. There's not much time. We don't know what's going to happen after tomorrow. You know?
Right. Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen after tomorrow, man. There's shit going on all over the world, man. That's why I'm trying to squirrel my fucking nuts. You know, I'm trying to put my nuts. I don't have many. I only got about 3 or 4 of them. It may last me a week, but I'm trying to squirrel them away. You know, I am, man. I am. Because I don't like what's going on, and people are so lazy-minded. They don't want to do their own research, man. They would rather get their news in a 5-minute clip, you know, and just carry on, and then they form their whole opinions and their decisions off that.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, that's the issue right there. It's everything becomes opinionated. You know, people get told a fact, and then everybody else, you know, whoever gets told that fact, they're going to pass it on to the next person as an opinion or as their opinion.
Yeah. And it's a lot of it's a lot of parroting. You know, you hear something and then you want to run to the next person and tell the next person what you just heard because you want to sound smart. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And then and at the end of the day, or at the end of whatever information you're passing, it's gonna get twisted at some point.
Or it's just straight up wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that too, yeah.
And you're just misinforming people by the thousands.
Yeah.
And then before
but hypothetically, if you are right, it'll just be it'll get twisted in some manner, and then as you said, you're just flat out fucking wrong.
So this is where we're at, partner, you know? And then what scares me about it is like people walking around just smiling like everything is okay. not even realizing what the hell is going on, man. And it's scary to me because I know I'm on the bottom of the pole with you. I may be just one notch above you, but I'm down there with you. I'll get crushed. I'll get ran over too, and I don't like that.
Now that you say it, I never really thought of it like that, but like I don't want to be nothing. Like, I think that on a daily basis. Like, I don't want to. I want to have a good life. I want to have some type of meaning. I try to find meaning, but I just get I lose myself in all of the negative shit like you just explained to me. And I've always known that. I've just never put in, like you said, I'm gonna be straight up honest. I've been lazy, and I've never put in the work to get past that.
And that's okay because I'm right here with you. I've been lazy. I've always wanted the easy way. And the thing of it is, what's hard for me is I've had a taste of that life. You know how hard it is for me to sit here knowing I got, I got to worry about how I'm going to pay next week's bills when I know that I could just go out and pay 3 years bills in advance within a week. It's very hard for me, man. But I understand what that comes with. And I don't want that. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't even want that in my psyche. It's gross and it's ugly and it's just treacherous and it's cancerous and it's nothing but death. And I don't.
There's a consequence to every action, good or bad.
I don't want it. I would rather sit here and spend my time planning on how I'm going to eat next week, right, than deal with that death, partner. I really would. And I wouldn't want to put that death on nobody because you're the end of result of that.
I think I told you last week, like, or I might not have, as you just explained, you could go out and pay 3 years worth of bills in a week. I was just doing that. And now look at the trouble it's caused me. I got 5 new court cases in 1 week. I'm not going to get into them, but, I was doing exactly that. I was doing something to pay all my bills real quick. And I was doing bad shit. And now bad shit's happened to me.
Right. Now you wish you would have just went in and just,
Exactly. Went and applied for a job, whether I got it or not. I absolutely do. But it's too late.
No, but these are lessons learned.
All I can do is man up, take it on the chin, admit what I did was fucking wrong.
Are you with me? Blake. 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 Bizzle. Blake Blizzle. Damn, man, I lost Blake, man.
You there? Did you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't hear nothing, man.
Well,
all I heard was take it on the chin, man. That's what I heard.
All right, so I know, right?
Don't tell these people you're on air, man.
Back to it real quick. So what I said was, I was doing exactly that. What you explained, going out and paying my bills off in 1 week, and like you said, you don't like what comes with it, and I was just doing that. But I'll tell you right now, it did not cross my mind once what was going to happen if I got caught up. It did not cross my mind until I got caught up, and then I'm sitting here like, oh, I wish this shit didn't happen, or like, why did I do that? And it's like, like I just said, I have one option. It's man up, admit my wrongs, and
Well,
try to make the best of it.
let me ask you this here, Blake. What made you think, like, why did you think that right now was the perfect time to propose?
Because I'm in a dark. Well, it's because I'm in love. I'm in love with her very very much, and she knows that. I've expressed my feelings to her umpteen amount of times. We've had talks, and but never mind that. I think right now, because I'm in a dark place, and I think I wanted something to be able to hold on to before I lost it all. That's the honest truth,
That's
man.
the truth.
I think
You know, that's the truth.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
But that's not. But listen to me. So
And
number one, that's not fair to her.
yep,
You know that, right? You put pressure on her to make a life decision with everything that you're facing, right? You put this pressure on her, and she probably knew that if she said no, it may send you off the deep end. You see what I'm saying? So she may have felt forced to say yes. And I'm not saying that's what's going on,
and let
but
me
these are the
tell you
decisions
something.
that I want
I
you to just to
felt the
think
same
about.
exact way, and after she said what she said, you want to know what my first question to her was? Do you feel
Huh?
I said to her exactly what you just said, and she's gonna be listening to this once we're done. So I'm gonna tell you the fucking straight up truth.
Mm-hmm.
I said to her, I'm like, do you feel forced? Did you feel forced to say yes? And I don't know if she was being honest with me because she didn't want to hurt me, but she said she didn't feel forced, and she said that this is what she wants. But like, I have
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time
Well,
of not even not just believing myself. I have a hard time believing others, and that's also another one of my problems.
well, and this is okay, right? All these feelings are okay, partner. Don't ever dismiss these feelings. These are feelings and they need to be addressed. That's most important. So if she's going to be listening to this, then I challenge her to look at you right now when she's listening to this and to be 100% honest, whatever that honesty is, right? But right now, what she has to understand and what you have to understand and what everybody has to understand is Blake cannot be lied to. Blake cannot find out any lies, right? Because that's going to set off. That's gonna set you off into a real downward spiral. So the best thing, like right now, what you guys are trying to build, you have to
Yep.
start with honesty, no matter what it is. So if she says, hey Blake, you know what? Now that I'm listening to this, I did feel a little pressured about it, and I wish maybe we would have waited, but it's okay. I still would have said yes. We'll just deal with it now. You see, and you, my partner, have to be a man to take whatever she says to you
Exactly.
without making her
And I
feel
don't want
insecure
her to feel like
of
that at
speaking
all.
with
I'll tell
you.
you right now. Like,
Well, you do that by
yep,
being on his back. Listen, what you're saying right now, it is a little disturbing to me, but just give me a couple moments to digest it, and you talk that through. But the main thing is just to be honest with one another. And I truly believe that, man, when you're honest with one another and there's true love,
yep,
that you
yep.
can work through anything, right? You can work through anything. Did you? Is her father
Yeah,
present?
he is, and um, her family completely disapproves. But you know what she said to me?
Of course they do.
She
Which you,
said that
uh-huh.
she straight up said to me, "It's us against them." That's what she said to me. And my family, not all my family, my grandmother and my grandfather love her dearly. She knows that. But it is them two. It is only them two out of my entire family who approve of this. So we're both of our families are kind of in the same position. They don't want this, but she straight up said to me, "It's us against them," and like that made me feel so good because like because like
Well, she sounds like a trooper. She sounds like a trooper, and she sounds like a ride or die. But facts are facts, Blake. And I don't want this.
but at the
Nobody
end of
wants
the
a
day
fade,
though, it's
right?
I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life with my grandmother or my grandfather or anybody in my family. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. And as what and you know what she's told me is the same feeling.
Well, that's that, and I respect that, partner. And I'm not trying to denounce any of it. What I'm trying to do is one, make sense of it so I can understand, right, and help guide you because the odds are severely against you, Blake, severely against you, right? In a partnership because one, you don't even know who you are at this moment. You don't even know where your life is going. You have no, you have no perspective on on several things. And that's okay, right? Because now we're acknowledging that. So as long as you know, again, like I say, as long as you know the
Yep.
hurdles that you're putting in front of you, only you know whether you can overcome them or not. I can't
Yep.
tell you you're not going to, and I would never do that. I know you can overcome anything. You're just like me. There's no
And
difference between you and me.
you
We're
want to know
both
what's
made the
crazy?
same.
I somewhere deep down I do feel and I do believe that if I want something, I will go and get it. If I truly want it, not just like a oh, that'd be nice. Like if I actually want it,
Right.
I always have and I truly believe that I always will do what I need to do to get it. But I just
Well, you don't have no choice, partner. You don't have no choice now, right? You have no choice now because you made this woman promise to be dedicated to you. Now you're taking her along for the ride. So now you're responsible for her for real. You see what I'm saying? Now let me explain this to you.
yeah.
I'm a father of a daughter, okay? And I'm picturing myself now as my daughter telling me that she's with Blake, you know, and I know everything that Blake has done, and I know who Blake is. Now this is just me talking. I understand love, and I understand issues, and I understand,
Yeah.
insecurities and problems, right? But what I do also understand is change, and I know what change looks like because I'm a product of that, and I'm still changing. I'm still educating myself, and I'm still
Yeah.
wanting to learn every day, right? So with that understanding, I'm going to understand also that Blake, if Blake is going to make an impression on me, right, and change my decision, Blake is going to have to come to me and talk to me about my daughter. You see what I'm saying? What are your
Yeah.
plans with
Yeah.
my daughter? You see what I'm saying? You disrespected her father by asking his daughter to marry you, and you haven't even had this conversation with him, right? For one, and for two, it's 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 almost like you're trying to pull his daughter away from him, which is only going to show more disdain.
So can I say one thing too though?
So
Now I
sure, go
I
ahead.
am just like you. What you just said is exactly, I wanted to ask him. And you know what she said to me? She said, "Isn't that old
What?
fashioned?" She didn't even want me to ask him. I mean, it had already happened. So obviously we had the conversation about it after I had already proposed to her. But
Mm-hmm.
she straight
Mm-hmm.
up told me that she's glad that I didn't. She doesn't, you know, she
and that's okay too. And she may have been, because she knows it may have been confrontational, and she just don't even want,
but
she
what
don't
if
even want to
what
associate
if
with
it's
that.
not
But at the end
confrontational
of
and
the
she truly just doesn't want to associate her family in our
okay, let me ask
relationship?
you this, Blake. Blake, let me ask you this. If you had a daughter,
I would
what
want her
would
to
you
be
want?
happy. I would want her to be happy. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Like, if somebody's daughter, if I had a daughter and she was dating me, right? I would be, I'd be a little upset, at who she picked, but I would sit there, I would sit her down, and I would ask her one question. I would say, "Does he make you happy?" That's what I would say. And and if my daughter told
Hmm.
me that yes, he makes me happy, and I truly want to be with him, then I would say, okay, then that's it.
Hmm. How
She's
old? How
she's
old is your
21.
girl?
Well, 22. 22.
She's 21. Blake, you guys don't know what fucking happiness is, man. She don't know what happiness is, right? And I'm saying that as a grown man. And the reason why I say that is I hear what you're
I might
saying, and I
not know
appreciate what you're
happiness, but I
saying.
could tell
I
you right
really
now,
do.
I fucking know sadness, and there's something better than that.
And but see that, oh my God, what you're saying is so relative and it's so important. And you're so right, right? We only know what sadness is, and we know we don't want
Yeah.
that. You see what I'm saying? But the point, what I'm saying is, as a father, I am a father. Like I say, my daughter is 16 going on 17, and her and I are
Well, can
going
I ask
through
you a question
some
real
beef
quick?
right now because our relationship.
So
Sure,
put
partner.
your daughter in mine and Kristen's shoes, and what just happened with her and I hypothetically just happened with your daughter and another boy. What would you say to your daughter?
I would tell her exactly what you said, but I would also tell her, I would also show her life, and I would also explain to her where the errors were and why that happiness
So don't
is
you think
is
that
just a
maybe
facade, right?
in you doing that, you're creating you're creating a thought that you think for yourself, but now you're making her think it as well.
Possibly,
Yeah.
but I can only be me, right? And as we get older and we understand the evilness of life, we try to
Okay.
protect our bloodline from that. So maybe we do install too much into our children, but it's a protective nature that we have, right? So me being a person of respect and knowing and understand what respect is and what it looks like, I would just simply explain to her, listen, mommy, I hear what you're saying, but the man
Yeah.
showed me no respect as a man. He's supposed to be a man. I'm a man, and I'm supposed to be passing my torch, right, of protecting you to another man. That's how I look at it. I'm taking my bloodline and I'm putting it in the
Yeah.
hands of another man. And nobody can protect my bloodline like I can. You understand what I'm saying? That's how hard it is for me as a father to pass my daughter off. So when I'm passing my daughter off, I'm passing her to somebody that I know that when I'm gone is going to take
Yep.
care of my
Yeah,
baby
exactly.
girl. That's what being a man is. And if I'm being 100 with you, Blake, because you're 100 with me. And if that man isn't big enough and man enough to come talk to me about my daughter, then I can't respect him.
So
Not as a man, not for
I'm
me.
gonna she's gonna hear and she's gonna know it anyway. I haven't told her, but I've been having thoughts about because I know where he lives and I know that I can just go there and just sit down and have a conversation with him. But in me doing that, I know it's gonna bother her. And I know she doesn't. She doesn't. Well,
It may
no,
or it may not, but
I'm telling you,
again,
it's going to. Sorry.
but what I'm saying, Blake, is you can't worry about that, right? Because again, you're Blake, and she has to respect the fact that this is what, if I'm going to stick up for myself, I have to be able to stick up for you. You know what I'm saying? And I have to do what's right, you know? So if I want to change my life and prove that I'm going to be better and prove to your parents that, listen, they're hating me. They're hating an
Yeah.
old me. This is the new me. And this is my change that I'm making. I have to do this, you know? And it doesn't matter what your dad says to me. It doesn't matter what her dad says to you. You done the man thing. And it's up to him to do the man thing. And you can't be responsible for his actions. But you know what? Listen, we're in love. And I know and I understand your pain and your worry, but I'm changing my life. I'm talking about myself. I'm making changes I've never done in my life before
And that's another
because I'm
thing, and
making this for
that's
your daughter. I love you.
I'm not only doing this for myself. I'm doing it for her too because the past year we've it's been rough, and I'll be completely honest. It's been rough because of me and my actions and the shit that I put her through. But but she laid
And I'm telling, and
down.
I don't know.
She straight up laid down shit that she wants from me and shit that she wants me to do. And I have actually started, and I'm in the process of doing all those things. Like, for instance, she wanted me to, see a therapist, get myself on, some medications. I'm supposed to be on medications, like, because I know I'm supposed to be on meds. I got fucked up shit, and I don't know any other way to. I just I don't think talking about it is gonna fix it. And I've always been against the medicine, but now I'm on it, and like I'm truly starting to like feel better. Like,
No, you need medicine, partner.
he
But
goes, "No,
listen
you
to
need
me.
medicine, but
No, but listen to me. Listen to me. Right? Medicine is like anything else. Right? It's a tool. It's not a
yep,
crutch. Right? You don't need medicine for the rest of your life. And that's how you have to look at it. Right now, because your chemical imbalance is so
yep,
off, you do need medicine to try to correct and help you in that thought process. But at the end of the day, it's your brain, and you can wire your brain to how you want
yep,
it to. You just have to pay attention, make sure that you're staying away from your triggers. Again, I want you to do that. When you start feeling nauseous, when you start feeling sick, you start feeling those
yep.
urges, write down everything that's going on around you so you can start understanding what your triggers are, and you can start staying away from those things. You have to start limiting the negatives that are affecting you without you even knowing it. It could be, man, it could be clothes. You don't even realize. It could be a certain shirt that just makes you think, damn, man, when I have this shirt on, I really get fucking high or whatever. Some
So
stupid
like,
shit.
so
Who
like, for
knows?
instance, if say hypothetically it's that shirt, do I throw that shirt away, or do I put
You're fucking right, you
or
do. Burn the fucking shirt,
okay, all
man.
right, all right. Because I'm gonna be
For
honest with
real.
you. You said that, and the first thing that came to mind to me was put the shirt on and try to overcome it. But at the end of the day, I don't. I agree with you. I don't think. I think if
For
I put
what,
the
man?
shirt on, I'm gonna fuck it up.
For what? Take the shirt, throw it away, burn it, because it's part of a negative element that's triggering you.
Okay. Yep.
You
Yep.
know, the shirt isn't what you have to overcome. The shirt is disposable. It's the triggers are disposable, but it's just recognizing them and getting away from them and replacing them with new
Yep.
things, right? So now you want a new fresh shirt to put on that don't remind you of that, but this new fresh shirt now reminds you of of wealth and clean. You see what I'm saying? This is how you have to reprogram yourself, partner, in everything that you do. Everything. See, but you're sporadic. I already know you're sporadic, and your mind just goes a million miles a second.
Listen, my mind goes so fast. If you ask me, what are you thinking right now? I don't know.
It's already 10 minutes. It's already 10 minutes too late.
I'm sitting here having a conversation with you, and I'm sure the reason you can tell it is because I'm talking about one thing and then I'm telling you another thing. Like, I'm all over the fucking place. I know that.
And again, okay, I'm gonna tell you how to control that too, partner. But you have to do these things, man. You have to apply these things. You just can't just fucking yeah. That sounds great, Tommy. I hear you. Yeah, that's fucking great, and then you never do it.
Yeah.
But listen, put yourself in a dark, quiet spot where you have no distractions whatsoever, if you can. Right? Clear your mind as much as you can. And I know it's very, very, very hard, right? It is, man, because I'm telling you, I had to do it, Picture a flower. Picture just one thing, not nothing extra, a flower, whatever it is, right? And just hold that one image as long as you can. And within 2 seconds, your brain is going to picture a bee on the flower, or your brain is going to do something else to the flower, and you have to stop it. No, damn it, I said just the flower.
Okay. All right.
And you just focus, meditate on that flower without changing it the slightest. And you may be able to do it for 5 seconds. But as soon as you have that disruption, then that's fine. Your meditation's over. The next time you do it, try to do it for 10 seconds. You see? And you just keep concentrating and telling your brain is controlling you, just like it was me. I had to get a no, damn it. I don't need my brain going 100 miles a second right now.
I just want to tell you, I got my voice recorder on because I tend to forget a lot. So, I'm recording what you're telling me, if you don't mind.
Blake, all you got to do is play the damn show.
Well, true, yeah. But at least I got this one spot, you know what I mean?
I'm just jiving with you, man. Whatever it takes, Blake.
Thank you. I just wanted to let you know that I was doing that.
I appreciate that. That really makes me feel good because it tells me that, that you want this, You just have to do it, man. And now you should have inspiration. You have a future wife coming to you. Blake, do not get her pregnant, man.
Look, I know we've already talked. That's not happening anytime soon. I mean, it's gonna, but not now.
But why are you laughing though?
Because I know I'm not ready.
Okay. Do not bring a child into this world under this pretense, man.
I know.
Okay.
And
okay, partner.
I laughed because I'd rather laugh than sit here and be sad, because honestly, if I don't just laugh about it and brush it off real quick, I'm gonna start thinking about, and
it's
I'm
okay.
gonna start thinking about why did my dad fucking bring me in here and my brother and them, you know what I'm saying though? That's
man,
why I laugh. So I'm not laughing because I think it's a
okay.
joke.
No, I know. I was just teasing you, partner. I laugh at all that crap too, man. We can't do nothing but laugh at it. Why the hell are we gonna sit around and cry over it, man? Come on, man.
That's literally the only thing that I've been able to hold on to be able to make myself feel better.
How do you feel right now, in this moment, right now, Blake, standing there?
I feel good.
You feel good
actually. And
what are you doing about work?
Well, so my wallet was, I think I told you, or if I didn't, my wallet was stolen a few weeks ago. So I'm in the process of getting an ID, and obviously, you can't go in. I don't know how it is where you are, but up here in Massachusetts, we can't go into the registry to just get one. They got to mail it. They got to mail it to you. So that takes 2 weeks. So I don't even have an ID. So about a job, I can't do nothing right now. There's nothing I can do. I have a birth certificate, but they need a photo ID.
Mm.
You know,
What part of Massachusetts
I'm in
you're in
Worcester.
again?
Worcester. Yep.
Okay. Maybe some of my listeners, hopefully, I got listeners all over the place, man. Maybe they can get with me and say, you know what, I'll hire Blake on until we get him an ID or something.
Heck yeah, because I definitely need a job. I'm still in the sober house for now, but it's not going to be too much longer. And like I don't,
So quickly,
yeah.
run me through your day, man. Tell me how you went and got the ring. Tell me how you proposed to her. Tell me the whole ordeal, man. Let's end on a
Well,
good note.
so it was over the weekend. It was on Friday. She wasn't really feeling good. We was hanging out, so she didn't. She wasn't feeling good enough. So she was, asked me if I could drive her home, and I did. I drove her home. I came back, just chilled at my house or whatever, and then I woke up the next day, and it was Saturday, and I had some running around to do. So I just told her like, hey, I'm gonna go out for a little bit, do a couple things, and at that point, I had already called to reserve a room for a hotel, because she wanted to get a hotel anyway. Like we dressed up, we dressed up in little matching Halloween stuff. But
What were y'all?
um,
Hold on. Tell me what your costumes
yeah.
were,
So
man.
hold on. It was like I don't know, the pig. It said it was an orange shirt, and it said like boo something, and then it was these like pants you'd wear to sleep, like fleece pants. You know what I mean? They had like little
Yeah.
pumpkins and little ghosts on them and stuff. But I actually have a picture on my Facebook. You can, we can add each other on Facebook and you can see it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, so we had those, and like I said, she wanted to do the hotel thing just for Halloween anyway, just for us. And I kind of, I've been thinking about it for the past couple weeks, asking her, and I thought I was like, well, I don't know why, but I literally just came to my brain. It's gonna be like, what night would be any better than tonight? It's Halloween. We're in a beautiful fucking hotel. Like this. It was. I got the absolute best room in this hotel possible. It was like $200 for one night. But never mind that. It was like it was full view of panoramic windows. It was beautiful. And
That's good,
and
partner.
so earlier that day, I was running around, and I grabbed the ring, and I just told her, I was like, I was like, we're gonna, I got something big planned for tonight, and she wants to know, so she was like asking questions, and she was like, oh, let me come with you. What do you have? And like I was telling her, like, I had to tell her, I was like, listen, when we get the room, I have to go up and do a couple things, before you can come up there. And she kind of knew, but she was like, I had no idea you were gonna do this. So it kind of made me feel good that I didn't like completely give it away. And then later that night we were laying down in the bed, and I was kind of I was tossing it in my brain. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, should I do it or should I not do it? But then I was like, I have to. You know, I
What was she doing? Did she see that you were nervous at all or
I
anything?
started crying, dude. Yeah, I
Huh?
started crying.
What do you mean? When? When did you start
We were
crying?
laying down in bed, and I just like started like fucking bawling my eyes out, and she was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I couldn't tell her because it's like, "Oh, I'm crying because I'm about to ask you to marry me." Da da da. You know what I mean? So I was like, she's like, well, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I was like, listen, I kind of, I got my bearings real quick, and I was like, can we, just take a walk real quick? Just go outside, and there was a little courtyard out there. It was all lit up. It was nice, and we were walking, and I kind of stopped her, and I was like, I love you, right? And she's like, yeah. and I love you too. And I was like, you sure? And she's like, yeah. And that's, I got down on one knee. I pulled the ring out of my
Oh,
pocket,
stop it,
and
man. You
I
gonna
was
make
like,
me
will you
cry,
marry
man.
me?
Stop it.
And she just like, she put her hands on her face, like, and like at that point, I was just like, oh my God, she's gonna say no. I had this fucking knot in my chest, and then she said yes. She was like, oh, she kind of started tearing up, and she was like, yes, yes. And dude, I fucking springed up, and I hugged her. I hugged her, and I didn't want to let go.
Playa. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
shit's
it,
making
man.
me
So she got the
emotional
ring
talking
on now.
about it.
So she got the ring on, and she's yours now, huh,
Yep.
partner? All right, man. That's beautiful, man. I'm happy for you, man.
I'm gonna be. I know
That's
I got
good.
a lot going on, but I truly think
You can do it. It's up to you,
exactly.
man. It's
No,
up to you.
exactly, and I truly think that everything's gonna be all right.
What's the number one thing, Blake?
Confidence. I think, right?
Do not get high.
Well,
Do
that
not
too,
get high.
absolutely.
Do not get high. If you get high, just know it's gonna set everything
Yep.
back.
But also, like, I know
And
that if I like you were telling me, if I start working on my, the confidence about myself, I'm not gonna use. The only time I use is when I'm sitting there and I'm down. I'm telling myself I'm this piece of shit, blah blah blah, thinking about all these bad things I've done. That's when I go get high. I don't go get high when I'm
and I don't even
feeling
know why, but
good about myself.
yeah. And I don't know, but why do you even, Blake? You couldn't have done worse than I have, or people that I know. You know what I mean? I promise you. And it's just like you just can't think like that. You just can't. It's just it is what it is. The thing of it is not to be that way no more. It just is what it is. I was dumb. It wasn't me. I was just acting, trying to be something else that I wasn't. You know what I mean? It was just, that's just all it was. So yeah, man. It's Blake, you're gonna be all right, man. But like I said, you have to stay positive, and
Exactly.
when
That's the
those
biggest
negatives
thing.
come in,
I need to stay positive.
that's it. And when the negatives come in, whatever negative comes into your head, find a positive. Find a positive. You see,
And I know it's gonna be hard.
and start
I
getting.
know it's gonna be hard as fuck because I've never tried to do this. Never in my life. I've never tried to. All right, I got a negative situation. I try to find a positive in it. It's always been, all right, I got a negative situation. This shit's just gonna get even worse. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
And that may be so, right? Because negativity is a slippery slope. But again, at the
I
end,
truly believe what you said. I'm not trying to cut you off. I truly believe what
go
you said,
ahead.
and I completely understand. Like, if I can just slow myself down in a negative situation and try to find a positive, like, I really feel like that shit's gonna be all right, and it's gonna get better. Like, I haven't
Well,
had anybody tell me, what you told me about this, and it's like, and like you said, this shit is simple.
it is, dog.
It's
It
gonna be
is.
hard. It's gonna be tough working on it, but like,
It's hard work.
exactly.
It's hard work. But just like anything else, just like if you're pushing a car downhill, it's going to take you 5 times much strength to stop it from going
Yep.
downhill and push it back uphill. You see what I'm saying? So that's all it is, right? But it's like this, right? Do you understand the true essence of what faith is?
To be honest with you, no.
To have faith in something. Okay. Let me explain it to you like this. It's very simple. Okay. You know that the sun comes up every day, right?
Yep.
Do you even think about the sun coming up?
No.
Do you even question, is the sun going to come up today?
No.
But you prepare for the sun to come up, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you know the sun is coming up. That is what faith is, partner. It's
But
not knowing that something is going to happen, but it's preparing for it. You know the sun comes up at a certain time, so you set your alarm so you can be up and you can prepare so you can watch the sun as it comes up over the ridge, because that's how much faith that you know that the sun is going to come up. You don't even question
no,
it.
I think this is, the negative in me. But what if one day the sun doesn't come up?
Has that ever happened in your 25 years?
No, no, but like,
Do you have any reason to doubt that?
no, but like,
And I'm not saying
how do you
it
put
won't
how do you
happen.
put that into other situations? Not particularly the sun, just like other situations, I guess.
Very simple, very good question. That's a great question, brother, and thank you for asking that. Because just like the sun comes up,
Yep,
that every negative has a positive.
yep,
Because you know that life is harmonious.
yep,
Everything is in balance. So if there's a negative, there's a positive. It's in everything. It's in batteries. There's no batteries that are just all negatives.
yep, yep.
That's how electricity flows. That's the current of life,
Exactly.
negative and positive, right? So it's just that you telling yourself, okay, I don't see the positive. That does not mean that it's not there, right?
Yep, yep.
I'm just not educated enough to be able to spot the positives. So I have to educate myself more to be able to spot the positive in this situation.
Okay.
So no matter what situation you're in, just because you don't see a positive doesn't mean that it's not there. You're not understanding what the positive is.
Yeah, all right. I got
And
you.
that's what I'm here for. That's what Cynthia is there for. That's what people are there for, right?
Yep,
That's the whole meaning of what friends are when they say lean on me. So when you're in a situation that you don't know how to get out of, maybe somebody else can. But if you have nothing but negative people around you, you're going to get nothing but negative answers.
yep, yep.
Steve Harvey once said, man, a long time ago, I was listening to it. And again, it's a philosophy that I apply to myself, and it makes me look around, and Steve Harvey says, if all your friends are coming to you with all their problems and you have nobody to go to with your problem, you need more friends. If everybody's coming to you with questions for you to answer, but yet you don't have anybody to go get an answer from, you need new friends.
But how
And the
does that
point of
make?
that
How does
is,
that make? See, so I don't understand that. How does that make any sense? Because
so
what if you get new
so
friends?
what
Now
that
you're gonna
means,
possibly have more problems.
right? What he's saying is that you want to constantly be elevating yourself. And if you're not elevating yourself, then you're only elevating people around you and
Okay.
not you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you always want to be in a constant state of education and learning.
Okay. All right.
And if you're not in that, then you're just a dull knife. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
So you always want to be in a constant state of education and learning. So that means the people you want around you, you want to be smarter than you. So that you find confidence in that as well. Because when we're around people that is not that is smarter than us, we become insecure and we start thinking, oh, well, I don't belong here. But see, I flip that, because now I look at it like, look at all these people I can learn from.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Okay. Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And I'll just go up to people like, who are you and what do you do? And that's just me now. And I'm annoying as fuck like that, because I will annoy the hell out of people just asking them questions, man. Like, who are you? What do you do? How does that make you feel? And this dude's looking at me like, I just met you 2 minutes ago and you're asking me about my life, because I'm just that intrigued.
Yep.
I don't mean no harm by it. I just want education.
And
You know?
I'm sure, like, if you're in a situation and somebody's like asking you, like, what the fuck are all these questions for? I'm sure once you explain it, they're like, oh, okay.
Well, for the most part, I mean, because again, I mean, I'm Jeffing when I say it for the most part, but I do be asking these questions. But I'm always I come across as a very humble person, and I'm coming across as truly inquisitive. Like when I'm asking these questions, I'm not asking to be a smartass or nothing. I'm asking because I generally care about what it is this person does, because I can learn. Blake, I'm learning from you.
Yo.
I can learn from anybody.
And from me,
You know what
and
I
I'll be
mean?
honest, from me just speaking with you, it seems, you talk very educated,
Well, I appreciate that, partner.
you know.
And I'm not.
Oh,
That's the
I think
thing.
you are.
Well, I appreciate that, but again, I'm not. And what I'm saying is, I'm not scholarly. I don't have no degrees. I don't have no certificates. I have nothing.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about either. You got
I know
knowledge
that.
about life.
I know because I paid attention
Those
and I asked
degrees,
questions.
those degrees are cool, or what, whatever, but that's just a status. That's just, that's just it's
Well, what degrees are is proof. That's what really degrees are. So when you go and you get certificates and you get degrees, all it really does is just show that it shows proof that you have the ability to attain a large amount of information, is really what those are.
yeah,
It just shows that this person, so yes, there's a level, of course, when you get up to the doctorate and thing like that, when you see a doctor in front of a person's name, you automatically know that this person has
it's
dedicated
smart.
8 solid years of hard, dedicated
Yeah,
study.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just, yeah, you're right. It's a status, but it also lets you know of what kind of individual you're dealing with for the most part.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
for me just talking to you, not even with there's no fucking paperwork. I can just tell from just conversation
Right.
that,
But that's not how society works. You see, that's the thing, Blake. If I could sit down and I could have conversations with corporate leaders and things of that nature, like I am with you, I could be making 6 figures a year, no question.
and
Right. And HR,
that's the fucking problem with the world.
that's the problem. They're going to look at my past before they look at who's in front of them.
Exactly, and then they're gonna say, he's just a bum. He's a nobody.
I'm a wash-up convict with
Yep,
no education.
yep. Which
I
I'd
have
say
no
the
work
same of,
history.
which I'd say the
I
same
have no
about
work
me.
history. I have no nothing. So when you're talking to me and you look me up, your first question is going to be, what do you do? Well, my experience is dealing with the human mind. I've been around it, dealing with it for the last 20 years in all kinds of different facets, and I study it, and I've always been a people watcher. I used to sit in the unit, man, Blake, and I would sit up on the top tier for 4 or 5 hours because there was nothing else to do,
Yeah,
you know? And I would act like I'm watching TV because of how they had the TVs lined up or what. But I'm
yeah,
just watching people.
yeah.
I'm just watching people, and I'm just watching what they do and why they do it and how they do it, you know? And then I question, do I do that? Am I
Or do I
capable of
do
those
it that
actions?
way?
Right. And
I
this is
got
what
you.
I just studied. I just studied people. And after a while, I just started to see repetitions in people,
Okay, yeah.
And I just started figuring things out, man, and then, like I say, my spirit took over, and my spirit's like, let me lead the way from here. And I'm just sitting back like, you can't do any worse than what I've done. You know what I'm saying? So have at it. I
Fair,
fucked off the first 40 years. I might as well give you the second 40 and let's see what you do. So I just let the
fair
spirit
enough.
guide me,
Fair enough.
Just let the spirit guide me, Blake. But listen, man, I love you, man. You're doing a great job, partner.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Seriously. Like
Yeah,
this is, from last week to now, it's only been a week, but it's like, I'm mentally, I'm in a better spot. Um, I feel like I've slowed down a little bit. I mean, I still have my little issues or whatever, but like, I think I'm not like just blowing up and making shit worse.
right.
You know, you know,
And
I,
I do that.
I had a
You know,
talk with the owner of the sober house, and I was like, look, like, I understand you need money for rent. I'm sorry, I do not have it. But if I could please just stay here until I can figure something out, just so I'm not put on the streets. Because if I get put on the streets, it's it's not going to end well. No matter how much I try to stay positive, it's just not. It's gonna fuck me up, dude. You know?
Hey, would you leave the state?
Yeah, I will.
Would you go to Texas?
I go anywhere.
All right. I'm gonna look into something.
I'd go anywhere, dude. You know?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna look into something for you, man.
and
I'm gonna.
and I'm sure, I've had talks with my girl about it too. I mean, I'm sure she would, if it was for me to, you know, fix myself up and I could come back and everything I'd be a better me. She would absolutely drop everything and say, "Do it." I know she would.
Right. And if she's a soldier and she's a rider, right, and she's really, really down for you, then she understands that, you have to do you first. You do love this girl and you guys are connected, but Blake has to work on Blake
Yeah, and
first.
she has said that to me multiple times. Like she has
She
said that.
sounds like a cool chick, man, really.
She is, and I haven't been with a lot of women, but like the ones that I have been with, it's never been serious like this. I've never it's just been one night stands. They were all flings. This is like,
And
I'm
it's
getting,
just bullshit, man.
exactly. I'm getting older now, and I don't know. I met her, and she's on the same shit that I'm on. She wants to settle down. We've been looking at houses and stuff, and it's just,
That's cool. And don't stop doing that. Don't stop doing that. Even houses, like I say, Blake, even houses that you think that you can't afford, it does not matter. Stop and look at it.
Yeah,
Feel that.
exactly.
Feel
That's
that.
what we've been doing.
Yeah, man, that's great, man. Feel that want to get that.
Yeah.
And that's what's gonna give you drive to go out and
Like
yeah, man,
I
you're
didn't
doing it
even
right, man.
realize that I was already like in that specific situation, that I've already been doing what you expressed to me. I didn't notice it until right now, until I just said it.
But that's what positivity does. It just seeps in without you even realizing that it's doing that. You just have to embrace it and let it come in. But let me go, partner. I gotta go over here and feed my mom's dog and stuff, man. She's going to deal with this election stuff, man. I gotta go
Yeah.
over here and feed the dog, let the dog out. I always get drugged into this stuff. But man, take care, like I say, and I'm here if you need me.
All right,
Right?
man.
Text
Yeah.
me anytime.
Thank you.
Leave a
Thank you.
message. Congratulations on the yes.
Thank
But
you.
we still got a lot of work, partner. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you
All
could
right. I love you,
just
man, and
keep
you
just
take
keep
care
me
of yourself.
informed
Okay.
about that thing in Texas.
Yes. Yeah, I will. I'm gonna look into that.
All right, awesome. Thank you. I love you too,
All
man.
right, partner.
Seriously.